Hi folks, I'm Richard Friedman and welcome to my political cartoon countdown for December 23rd, 2021. Time is ticking on. It's goodbye to 2021 in a few days, and wish you folks the best. And I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself. I've been doing cartoons for way back through the George W. Bush presidency, through Obama presidency, and right up to now. And I started writing books around the time of the Trump presidency, when former President Trump was running. My first book included that period where we had the Democrats and Republicans debating right up through 2018 into the first year of the Trump presidency and onward till today. And I would like to invite you, if you ever want to look at my books and my sample cartoons from the years gone by, you can go to richardsbooksofpoliticalcartoons.com, and there's a link there that if you decide to, you can purchase the book through the link on my website, and those good folks at Amazon will be happy to ship it out to you real quick. Boom, that'll go, and you'll have your book for probably early in 2023 or somewhere around there. So in any event, to begin today, first of all, I always do a cartoon countdown based upon impressions on Twitter. And then I categorize it based on popularity, and I shoot it out to you here. But today, so I'm getting a little head start on Thursday because we have the Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, and we have Christmas, and all other holidays that people have coming up here. So I figured I'd get in ahead of it and just shoot this out to you. And so I didn't have a chance to put it up on Twitter. So this is literally Richard Friedman's political cartoon countdown based upon my own preferences. I did it as my favorite 3 cartoons that I have thus far for this time, and my own. So this is literally Richard Friedman's political cartoon countdown. Okay, so here, before we get started, I always like to reminisce a little bit about going back to this date in a year or 2, or sometimes 3 years ago, and show you a cartoon from then. So this was the book here, the greatest 2019 book of political cartoons on issues of the Donald J. Trump presidency, and this was the edition 2, July through December. In 2020, there's a whole book that goes through the whole year 2020. For 2021, there are 2 books. I'm just completing the last edition 2, the edition 2 book for 2021. Will be coming out sometime early in January of 2022, finishing up 2021, and then obviously starting another book, edition 1 for 2023, God willing, hanging in there. So I'd like to show you here a cartoon from this date, December 23rd, 2019. Going back. You can see here, December 23rd, 2019. Okay, and introduction is Lindsey Graham on Twitter attacking Nancy Pelosi for withholding articles of impeachment from the Senate. Back then, Nancy Pelosi held back on the articles of impeachment. If she refuses, Senate Republicans should take matters into their own hands, sounding like a raid on the House, like the whiskey raids in the 1920s, when during Prohibition, the Untouchables, that was Eliot Ness, you saw the movie based upon Eliot Ness, the Untouchables, they went around going after bootleggers who, during the Prohibition days of the 20s, okay? And there were speakeasies where they break into these speakeasies where people 3 flights below were having parties and behind a door or something like that, and they busted up. So that was the days of the Untouchables, and you had bootleggers shipping trucks of liquor all across the country, So anyway, This is analogous to that, okay? So sounding like a raid on the house, like the whiskey raids in the 1920s during Prohibition. The Untouchables seized warehouses full of alcoholic beverages, okay, and speakeasies, as I said. So here, what I did was I kind of dressed up Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham, you know, as going after the speakeasy, sort of like an Elliot Ness thing, you know, where they're going to we're going to raid the House to get the articles of impeachment from Nancy Pelosi, you know, to see what's in it. So here you have a car from the 1920s. This is like a 1920 vehicle here. I drew it from an actual car, picked out a 1920 car here. I think it was an Oldsmobile. And here's Lindsey Graham. And there's Mitch McConnell dressed up as the Untouchables. And here's the Capitol, okay, where they're going to bust in and take the articles of impeachment from Nancy Pelosi's desk or whatever, the chamber or whatever, okay? There they got there. And he's saying, Lindsey, this raid is the end of the Pelosi mob, you know? So there's the Capitol. This is what they're doing. They're parked outside, and they were going to seize the articles of impeachment that Pelosi was delaying in bringing forth to the Congress, full Congress. Okay. There's the Capitol in the background. Car, Lindsey, and Mitch, the Untouchables. Yeah. Well, they were no Untouchables, for sure, we know that. But on the basis of this cartoon, I took that approach to show the desperation, really, of these guys were acting on the orders of possibly of a higher up, and wanted those impeachment articles out as soon as possible to know what was going on. So there you have it. Okay, that was 2019, December 23rd in 2019. Last shot at that. Okay. Now this is my latest book. That's out now, and will like I said, edition 2 of this book will be coming out in early January, to finishing up the year of 2022. So, just give you a glimpse of it. Here's Josh Hawley in front of the Capitol that day, January 6th. Here's Biden and Liz Cheney shaking hands at an event. Here's Trump and Gates, 2024, and a dream with Mitch McConnell. Okay. There's Ted Cruz. There's former President Trump with his chocolate cake in Mar-a-Lago. There's the the Supreme Court. Somebody, oh, this was a, this is about the Chinese Trump fantastic August dream given. Mike Lindell, CEO Pillar, has said in August is when the former president will go to the Supreme Court to present evidence he's acquired would be convincing that the justice would be forced to reject that extend to other states. Biden won. The high-powered microscopic Arizona auditors used to expose 40,000 ballots from Biden that were laced with bamboo fibers, which China uses. So here he's standing before the Supreme Court, Trump, former President Trump's attorney, and he's got the fibers from the ballots under a microscope, and he's making his argument before the Supreme Court. That was June 3rd, 2021. Here's a microscope. President Trump thumbs up to that presentation in front of the Supreme Court. Okay. This was the greatest 2019 book of cartoons issued from January to June. This was edition 1 of that book. Here we have Barr here. Here, this is when the Mueller report was going on. His boss said he's going to land the plane, crashing it into the Capitol, you know. Okay. I have one more, let's just see here. Oh yeah, this was the Afghanistan peace talks when Trump said the Afghan peace talks were proceeding well. Former President Trump said that. Then President Trump saying this. Then President Trump says Afghanistan peace talks are proceeding well in the face of the Afghan leader calling for direct talks with insurgents, but militants still refusing to meet with him are proceeding well. Yeah, here we go. This was okay. So I can't try to cover everything that happens if it's a meaningful incident. And so a lot of these things that I think are trivial at the time turn out to be more significant as time goes by. You know, it's like a wine. You for 10, 20, 30 years open up a wine bottle. You know, it's like that. It matures, you know. Okay, this was my first book. Okay, this is when there was a feud between then President Trump and on trade with for the Canadian leader Justin Trudeau, and then this is who's this here? Transfer. Okay, so this is Peter Navarro here. You remember Peter Navarro? He was on trade there. And he said there's a special place in hell as foreign leader that engages in bad faith diplomacy. There's a special place in hell at any foreign leader that engages in bad faith diplomacy with President Donald J. Trump and then tries to stab him in the back on the way out the door will find this special place in hell. So here's Trudeau in Trump's hell place here. You know, it's Trudeau, Canada, in Trump's hell place. Okay, this was my first book. Okay, folks, now, like I said, this is not up on Twitter. I think only one is on, this one here that I'm showing you now is up on Twitter. The other two are not. So it's really not a countdown based upon impressions on Twitter. It's based upon my preferences between two cartoons, because this one I put up, so I'm showing this one first. Okay, here we have, this just happened just the other day, big event. Former President Donald Trump watches West Virginia Democrat Joe Manchin say no to President Biden's Build Back Better bill amid the former president upgrading Manchin's name from Munchkin Joe to, former President Trump had given Joe Manchin the name of Joe Munchkin Joe. You know, he called him that. I think he was angry because Manchin voted I think, okay, I could be wrong, but it's going back, that Manchin had voted to impeach President Donald Trump at the time in one of his impeachment trials. I don't know which one it was, but anyway, he had voted to impeach the former president. So then President Trump was angry with him, and he gave him the name of Munchkin Joe, Munchkin Joe. We call him Munchkin Joe. You know, the Munchkins from the Wizard of Oz. You remember the Munchkin? What did they follow? They followed Dorothy around. The Munchkins were bothering Dorothy all the time. Those little Munchkin guys, and they were following her around and everything in the Wizard of Oz. So they named him Munchkin. Trump named him Munchkin Joe. You know, Trump might have seen the Wizard of Oz, or put two together and got the name from the Wizard of Oz, and from his feelings about Joe for that, you know. So that's another cartoon I did a long time ago about that one. Anyway, I drew Joe Manchin as a Munchkin. You go to my website, you'll see. You're bound to come across that. Okay, so here's former President Trump watching Manchin on Fox News, the Fox News channel, and he's saying, "This is no, I can't get there." Those are his exact words. Okay, and then Trump watching this says, "Now you are there. You have grown up from Munchkin Joe to Giant Joe. You are now Giant Joe for blocking this social Build Back Better program for social programs he's still probably mad at Republicans for passing the infrastructure bill, which was a bipartisan bill that got through, and he's still angry about it. But this is like double indemnity, you know. This is double bad, you know. So in former President Trump's eyes, I'm saying, okay. So here he is for blocking this, because he was the single vote that blocked it. So for blocking this, he's now Giant Joe, Giant G.I. Joe. You know, that one, Giant G.I. Joe. There he is. Thumbs up. Okay. This one is up on Twitter. The other two, I just going to pick now my favorite based on putting it in order for me. Okay. This will be number 2. Okay. This is in terms of, and the next one will be number 1. Okay. Okay. In my favorites, you know. So here we go. We have here we have former President Donald Trump dreams of watching Representative Scott Perry, Republican, Pennsylvania. Now he's getting big on the charts now. You're going to be hearing his name around a lot now. Republican Scott Perry. He hasn't been known too much, but now he's hitting the charts, you know. And Republican Pennsylvania put forth a new conspiracy hunt for, here it is. He's watching now this guy who's a Trump loyalist and everything, and he's bought into all these conspiracy theories that have come forth thus far. So now he's coming out with a brand new conspiracy theory, perhaps in time for former presidents, for Trump's January 6th anniversary news conference at Mar-a-Lago. He has something new for President Trump, a new conspiracy theory that he has, Representative Scott Perry, Republican, Pennsylvania, and it involves his own state. And this is something that he's dreaming about. You know, it would be very, very good to come out with a brand new, fresh new conspiracy theory right now, right ahead of the news conference and the anniversary of the January 6th Capitol riot. Boy, that would be really like a, you know, a real Christmas present, you know, you know, in President Trump's perception. Okay, so former President Donald Trump dreams of watching Representative Scott Perry, Republican Pennsylvania, put forth a new conspiracy hunt for matzo ball flour laced Israeli ballots. So he's saying here that the Israelis flew in ballots in 2020 during the election that were laced with matzo ball flour. You see? And that's how they know that the ballots didn't come from the United States, they came from Israel. And that's the conspiracy theory he's putting forward. He would be in former President Trump's dream that he's having now, ahead of the January 6th news conference. Okay? And they want to subpoena Perry before the Select Committee as well. So a lot of things going on. A new conspiracy hunt for matzo ball flour laced Israeli ballots, promoting an election 2020 audit effort for his state of Pennsylvania. His theory, based on the claim ballots were flown in to his state from Israel in boxes from a company that produces matzo balls. So he's saying a company in Israel that produces matzo balls shipped these ballots that were programmed, they were already filled out for Biden, and they used those, and those boxes had traces of matzo balls in terms of flour that was inside. That was little particles of flour on the ballots, so they were able to trace it back to Israel. You see, so they knew the ballots didn't come from the United States because of those flour mix matzo ball traces. Okay, see, so that's the new theory, the news theory here. And here's the background. His theory, based on the claim ballots were flown into his state from Israel in boxes from a company that produces matzo balls in Israel. The dream, given the former president has blasted Benjamin Netanyahu, accusing the former Israeli prime minister of disloyalty. He accused him of disloyalty because Netanyahu congratulated Joe Biden very quickly after he became president. He didn't wait, but they should have, President Trump was hot for an investigation and delay the confirmation. So by Netanyahu congratulating him before all this business of Trump, before all these things that have occurred that we're hearing about now, by doing that ahead of time, he was disloyal. He should have waited at least until after the Capitol riot to congratulate President Trump. He probably maybe did it on January 2nd or 3rd or 4th. He should have waited till after the Capitol riot to see what happens. Maybe we could do something, So he should have been more courteous to then President Trump, and he was still president of the United States. So you got to respect the man when he feels he should be president, and we're waiting to see what happens here, Okay, and also the Electoral College votes, that was the key there. It was to short circuit the Electoral College votes on January 6th. That was the whole key emphasis. So Netanyahu should have waited until after to see we could block the certification of the electoral votes before congratulating a president. You don't do that. You don't congratulate President Trump before he can see if he can block the Electoral College votes. That's very disloyal of you, Benjamin. Benjamin Netanyahu. So anyway, so here we have here. Okay, given the former president has blasted Benjamin Netanyahu, accusing the former president, the former Israeli prime minister of disloyalty, and Representative Scott Perry has promoted other groundless election claims. In the past, he has. And this is today, December 23rd, 2021. I finished this up a little while ago. Okay, and here he is. Here is Representative Scott Perry on the TV here. I drew him right out of the thing, just as he appeared. There he is. You look through the pictures and you'll find this one. You Google what's going on now, and this will come up. Okay. My state of Pennsylvania received 1 million counterfeit votes from Biden, for my State of Pennsylvania received 1 million counterfeit votes for Biden laced with Israeli matzo ball flour. Those absentee ballots mailed in were rigged and cooked. We need a flour audit. So he wants to audit all the ballots for flour, put them through an audit of flour to see if they have, how many came from Israel, you see? And then they could take it out and maybe get Pennsylvania and try to run. I mean, what you're doing, this is this is a year after the election, and you're talking about doing an audit. Well, that's what they are talking about, okay? And then here is President Trump commenting on that as he watches his loyal ally, Representative Scott Perry, Republican, Pennsylvania. He's watching him on the TV, and he's commenting from Mar-a-Lago. There's Mar-a-Lago, beautiful place. Looks like the water there in front, the house and everything, and the awning there. Beautiful Mar-a-Lago there. And he's watching President Trump. What you're saying? That sure figures. We need a flour audit. That sure figures because that Netanyahu only has matzo balls. That's all he's got is matzo balls, So because he was afraid of Joe Biden, he's saying, so he only has matzo. Apparently he had to jump in and congratulate him so fast. So Netanyahu only has matzo balls. Okay. There you go. Matzo balls are usually pretty soft, unless they don't come out too good. Then they're hard. Sometimes matzo balls can be pretty hard, I remember my mom used to ask me, "Are matzo balls, are they hard or hard?" No matter how old they were, I always said they were delicious. So, and then meanwhile, half a tooth is out of my mouth. Missing a tooth here. No. But sometimes they would be a little hard. But I never let on. I would say, "Yeah, it's delicious, nice and soft." So anyway, that's the story with the matzo balls, soft matzo balls. So here you have it. And there's President Trump, former President Trump, dreaming about this whole episode here with this new conspiracy theory ahead of his January 6th anniversary news conference of the Capitol riot. Okay, go ahead and check this out. There, you'll find this photo. You'll find this photo there. I guarantee you'll come across this. Okay, here's my numero uno de la semana, my choice for number one. Okay, we have Liz Cheney and confronting Jim Jordan. Now they want to get Jim Jordan up to testify, since I believe it was Mark Meadows' book has revealed stuff, and it might have not been Mark Meadows, it may have been from some other sources, but sources, let's just say sources have revealed that Republican representative and staunch Trump ally Jim Jordan has basically during the riot he had communicated with Mike Meadows. Not during the riot. This is before. No, this is before the riot. This is after the election. While they were trying to find ways to change the election results. Okay, so they were brainstorming, and I guess then President Trump, everybody was brainstorming on finding a way of reversing the election to Trump. You see. So Jim Jordan made a call. Then okay, let me read this to you so we get 100%. Anyway, this is Liz Cheney here, and this is Jim Jordan. Okay, a guy with his yellow tie there, white shirt, yellow tie there. Pointing his finger. Liz Cheney with her earrings and a little necklace around her neck there. Okay. Republican representative and staunch Trump ally, Jim Jordan. Now, Jim Jordan is very strong ally president of former President Trump. You know, given the House Select Committee investigating the January 6th Capitol riot wants to interview Jordan, they want to interview him. Okay, and the chances are that he would be at least partly interviewed by Vice Chair of that committee, Republican Liz Cheney, who's been very vocal and very adamant and very clear in her questioning. Okay, and she's really taken the reins of the investigation, probably more than anybody, even though she is the vice chairman. Liz Cheney has been up there and out, she's been at the helm, you know, really probing questions and asking very clear questioning. Okay, given the House Select Committee investigating the January 6th Capitol riot wants to interview Jordan in the wake of the revelation that Jordan sent then Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, to White House Chief of Staff, former President Trump's White House Chief of Staff at the time, Mark Meadows, a shaky legal argument that Vice President Mike Pence should reject Electoral College votes. These were Electoral College votes, basically, which, see, the Electoral College elects the president. The people elected, but the Electoral College is the mechanism that represents the people. So if a state has two or three electoral votes, then the state gets the majority, wins, then they get the electoral votes. So the votes don't get cast by the people, they get cast by people who are appointed as electorates who then vote. Now, it's theoretically, I believe it's constitutionally conceivable that an elector could say, I'm not going to vote for the people's person the people picked, or for one reason or another, I don't like him, or I believe the votes were cooked, or they were illegitimate, or it was a fake election or a fraud election. I'm going to vote for the other people because the people are wrong here because I have knowledge of what's going on. And that's how you lose a democracy. You see? The founding fathers put it in that way that I don't think they realized then that by putting it in that way, you're opening the gates. They had their own reason why they did that, because they felt in those days, you didn't have media like you have today, and people could be uninformed. You didn't have all the internet, you didn't have radio, TV, you didn't have all those things that people inform people. So they felt that sometimes people could be, it's just my hypothesizing, how the rationale for putting in that system of the Electoral College is because they felt that a lot of people wouldn't know what was going on, and only these people in Washington would know best. The electors who are connected to the politicians, who were appointed by the politicians, or possibly voted by the people, but still connected to the political system in some way, would have the knowledge, the better knowledge, to say we don't want somebody who's really, and to pull the wool over on these poor hicks. They don't know what's going on. So I think that I'm just speculating. So, but today it works against our democracy in that it could spell the end of our democracy, because if you get corrupt people into the electoral positions, or people who are not in line with doing the right thing for the United States and thinking of their own political ambitions and political agendas of people they're supporting for president, then you have the recipe for destroying our democracy, putting an end to democracy. Because if the people aren't represented and they're blocked from the will of the people is blocked, you don't have a democracy anymore. You have an oligarchy. You have a few people who are dictating what's going on. It's an oligarchy. It really comes down to a monarchy because there's one person here who's directing the oligarchs, and so it's really a monarchy. You could argue, is it an oligarchy, a monarchy? Yeah, I would say an oligarchy is a monarchy because the oligarchs are controlled by the monarch. So it's still a monarchy, So you don't have a democracy no more. So anyway, so this cartoon here Okay, in the wake of the revelation that Jordan sent then Chief of Staff Mark Meadows a shake, they want him too, and he's saying, no way, ain't going there, I ain't going to be around there, and I ain't going to that neighborhood, no way. Okay, Staff Mark Meadows, a shaky legal argument that Vice President Mike Pence should reject electoral college votes, that's how I started on this, electoral college votes on January 6th as Congress confirmed President Joe Biden's victory. See, Mike Pence is not an elector, he's the vice president. And with his word called perfunctory, that's his position there. His perfunctory means he's just a conduit. He's just an instrument. He has no say in the electoral college determining which states vote, which electoral college votes to accept. He's just there to put his rubber stamp on it and sign it off that he saw this and everything's fine and good. That's it. He doesn't have any input at all by the Constitution. So Mike Pence, he looked hard. He really looked hard to try to find a constitutional way of backing President Trump and not signing it, but he couldn't find anybody who would go along with that idea, that ideation, which is what it is, and so he decided to sign it, for his own well-being and perhaps his own political future, So anyway. If there was a way he could have done it, it's clear from everything he tried to do and all the people he talked to, he would have blocked it. But there was no constitutional way. That's why they say that the guardrails held up. The guardrails held up in that Mike Pence, but you have somebody else who would say, okay, I'm retiring after this. I don't care. I just want to be. Or I got to think of my political future and blah blah blah. And in a different way, and they could have gone along with it. And then you lose, and then we were lucky that the guardrails held. Will the guardrails hold up in 2024? That is a $64,000 question, So you got to be thinking about that, You can't wait. Say, hey, it's 2024 now. What can I do? I'm not saying revolution. I'm just saying pay attention to what's going on and vote for people who you feel are honest people who are going to do the right thing. That's what I'm saying here, We got to stick with it because nobody, we don't, vigilantes who are doing the opposite or who are doing, you could have anything in this day and age, but anyway, that's my view, is that everybody has to stay in line with the Constitution and respect the rights of others. And if everybody respects the rights of others and does the right thing, then that's the guardrail of our democracy, not the Constitution. It's the people who are the guardrails, not the Constitution. That's what I'm trying to say. You get the wrong people, the guardrails are like paper. Are paper balloons, or balloons. That's all. Pop, pop. There it goes. Paper tigers. Okay, paper tigers. Okay. So anyway, here we have Liz Cheney here. And she is. This is Jim Jordan's nightmare. You see, because they're going to subpoena him eventually. They're going to, for all this that he had that he is now involved in delivering a legal argument to then President Trump to block the election and pass that on to Pence. Was the objective, is to pass this on to Pence to give Pence a chance, a way of blocking it. You see, Pence was the focal point there. But so the idea that Trump would communicate this to Pence, and then everything would be fine, for them, So anyway, so here's his nightmare. This is the Jim Jordan nightmare of being interviewed at this investigation into the January 6th Capitol riot at a select committee by the Vice Chairman Liz Cheney. So here we have Liz Cheney now in the dream. This is his dream. Okay, this is Jim Jordan's dream. He's having this dream here. Okay, this is all a dream. Okay, Representative Jordan, here she is questioning him, beginning her questioning. Representative Jordan, you sent then White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows a legal blueprint for Vice President Mike Pence to reject the Electoral College votes on January 6th that would confirm President Biden's victory. See, that would that confirmed his victory, and that was the stamp. Okay, how do you justify suggesting defiance of the will of the American people, which is what that message that he sent to President Trump did? It defied the will of the American people, defying the will of our democracy. So Jordan's defense here is that he just passed it along. It was just something he got from, actually he got it from a retired Pentagon official, that he got somebody who was up there, a retired person, who nobody would care about, really, So he got this, and that person might be subpoenaed. Who knows? It's possible. But they're concerned. But that person gave it to Jim Jordan. If Jim Jordan could have said, "I'm not going to do nothing against the people," Jim Jordan was representing the people. That's the point. He was an elected official. This guy is just a guy who dreamed up this idea. So the idea is that it was Jim Jordan who communicated to Trump. He was the conduit there to Trump to get this legal strategy, okay, to give, obviously, to the Vice President Pence, giving him an exit ramp to get away from the Constitution of the United States and find a legal maneuver, okay, some exit ramp, okay, an exit from democracy, okay, so here we go. So Jordan says, here's his response to Liz Cheney, Vice Chair Liz Cheney. He's saying here, pointing his finger, there he goes. He's saying, I just forwarded it to President Trump, like I was just delivering a reservation for his Trump International D.C. hotel. It was like a hotel reservation at the Trump D.C. hotel, the post office that was converted into a magnificent hotel, the Trump D.C. hotel, just like it was a reservation there. I was just acting like a FedEx delivery man. I was a FedEx delivery man delivering an invitation. It was nothing more than that. I didn't tell President Trump I didn't offer any legal opinion about this. I just forwarded it to him, So that's his defense, okay? He's saying he just forwarded it, like it was a reservation. He had a reservation at the D.C. hotel, penthouse suite up on the top floor, That's my reservation, Okay, so then there's Cheney here, comes back at Jordan after that remark, and she says, here, I'll let you read it, and then I'll read it. Okay, she says, seems to me you should be delivered to a Fed. Seems to me you should be delivered to a Fed. I was just acting like a FedEx delivery man. She says, seems to me you should be delivered to a Fed. You know what she means there. So anyway, I'm not going to go into that. You use your imagination on that one. Okay, so there we have it here. Liz Cheney, chair. She was the vice chair, Liz Cheney, of the Select Committee on the January 6th investigation. And Jim Jordan in his yellow tie, pointing his finger there. Okay, I want to thank you folks for watching my political cartoon countdown, the last one of the year. I want to wish you all, I'm going to say this, I want to wish you all a very Merry Christmas Eve, okay? Nobody could come down on me for saying Merry Christmas Eve, because it is Merry Christmas Eve, it is Christmas Eve, and I'm wishing everybody a Merry Christmas Eve. And I want to wish also those people who Merry Christmas, who follow the Christian religion, and those people who don't and have their own holidays, I wish them happy holidays, And I wish everybody happy holidays, because Christmas is a holiday. And I wish you all a happy new year for 2023. We do the best we can do, and we hang in there, and we stay healthy, and we just follow common sense. And whatever it takes, if it takes another booster, another fourth booster, we go for the fourth booster if we have to. Whatever it takes. And we have to wear our masks when we're in a crowded elevator and everybody's on top of each other, you know, we wear our mask, you know. If we're jogging out in the street somewhere, we can breathe in the fresh air. You know, it's just a matter of using common sense. So again, I want to thank you folks. I wish you all the best. God bless you, and God bless America. Folks, I'll see you next year. Take care. Bye, folks.